Welcome back to the Rangers Prospect Profile, a mini-series we do here within the Texas Rangers franchise, where we go over top prospects throughout the Rangers organization from AA Frisco up to AAA Nashville. Last time we went over third base prospect down in Frisco, Josh Young, and now we are going to be staying down in Frisco yet again to go over catching prospect Sam Huff. Huff is a 22-year-old catcher. He is 21 years old in-game because it has him at 21. He is a face scan player, so I am not able to go in there and change him to be 22, so he's just always going to be a year younger than he actually is in-game. He is a right-handed bat, right-handed throw, obviously, 6'4" 230 pounds, a massive man, drafted in the 7th round in 2016 out of Arcadia High School in Phoenix, Arizona. He was the 2019 Futures Game MVP, and he is currently ranked as the #2 prospect in the Rangers organization, according to MLB.com, behind Josh Young. So if we take a look at Sam Huff's current ratings, he is a 68 overall A potential. You'll notice that if you have the base roster set, that is much different than what he is in the base roster set, because for whatever reason, he was a D potential in the base MLB The Show 20 roster. So I edited that, as well as a bit of his ratings. The reason you see in his ratings page stuff like +30 or like +15 pop up on certain attributes, that's not because he's already had a +30 boost. That was because I edited his ratings during the franchise rather than before starting it. So this year they actually show if you do that. If you go into a guy's thing, change his equipment, and then hit save, it still keeps all that on the page, as opposed to the previous, like, 4 years of MLB The Show, where if you would change a guy's socks from high to low, then you would lose all the ability to see how much progression he has gotten throughout the season, which is a thing that I like, and I'm surprised it was actually even added into MLB The Show. But yeah, just ignore the pluses and the minuses above each attribute for Sam Huff for this season. And I am just using the hitting ratings that he has in the OSFM, or full minors, whatever they're calling it, V2, where he does also have an A potential in that roster set. Huff's best tool is indeed his bat, and that is reflected in his ratings. I also read that he produces the highest exit velos of any Rangers prospect since Joey Gallo, so that's pretty high praise, considering Gallo does indeed hit the absolute piss out of the ball. And Sam Huff, sort of like Joey Gallo, is a high-power, high-strikeouts type of hitter. I wouldn't say he quite has Joey Gallo-type power, especially with his ratings in this game, but he does indeed have that high-power, high-strikeouts profile as a hitter. He does have a decent discipline as well, so he's going to be able to be a high OBP, high home runs guy, but he's also going to strike out a lot, which, if you know me, I do not give a shit if a player strikes out. So he could easily end up being like a 30, 35 home run type of guy for us in our lineup. And defensively, he's kind of a unicorn. Generally, someone who's 6'4", 240 pounds would end up moving away from the catching, or 230 pounds, I should say, would end up moving away from the catcher position to either be like a first baseman or like a corner outfielder. Only 5 players his size have caught 300 games in the big leagues, but he moves well for his size. And scouts think that he should be able to remain at the catcher position, so that's where we're going to keep him, as Sam Huff is just going to be our catcher of the future, essentially. It's also worth mentioning that his arm is very good. His power tool on MLB.com is a 60, and so is his arm. So if he's producing Joey Gallo exit velos, and his arm has the same tool as his power, it's pretty solid, as evidenced by the fact that he threw out 48% of attempted base stealers in 2019 in the minor leagues. And as far as Sam Huff's future goes in our organization, MLB.com has his ETA as 2021, and that could very well be when it happens for us as well. Robinson Chirinos, our current catcher, is 35 years old on a 1-year deal, and he is having a fantastic season for us, which means, ding ding ding, trade bait at the deadline. So Robinson Chirinos probably not going to be with the team in the second half of the season. I'm going to see what we can get for him at the deadline, and that's going to open up a catcher spot for not only the rest of the season, but also next season as well. Obviously, we don't know what's going to happen in the offseason with signings and whatnot, but as of right now, the plan is probably get someone to be a stopgap for catcher for the rest of the season, whether that's someone like Blake Swihart or Isaiah Kiner-Falefa or Jose Trevino. Those guys could fill in. Even Jeff Mathis could fill in as the catcher for the rest of the season, while Sam Huff continues to develop down in the minor leagues, and then for the 2021 season, he will be even more developed and ready for the 2021 season, and then Huff will be the starting catcher on opening day. That would be what the plan would be, also to pair him with a veteran backup in 2021. I do not want to rush him to the big leagues, but also I don't want to have him sit behind anybody for multiple seasons. So if anything, like worst case scenario, if he's not the starter next year, then he's probably playing every day in AAA, and we just have like another guy in a one-year deal, and then Huff will be up for like his next season. But ideally, he does play as our starting catcher in 2021. So with that being said, that is going to wrap things up here for this edition of the prospect profile of catching prospect Sam Huff down in AA Frisco. I've been your host, Jerseyborn, and I am saying, I'm going to need all these "you can only pick 3" tweets from ESPN to stop ending up on my timeline. I am not a part of Drake clapping GIF Twitter.